Welcome back to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Nandita, Khemka.
And I'm Yatin, Mota.
Well, Yatin, I'm wearing green today, and look at the screen today. If you see the last half hour of trade, we saw a sudden spurt. Otherwise the markets were pretty much flat to volatile. But in the last half an hour of trade, we saw a very fine spurt coming in on the Nifty, and at 22,216. That's the new all-time high level for the Nifty. And of course, one pocket that was not performing, has started participating today, and the Nifty Bank index, that index ended at the day's high, 1.2% kind of gains coming in. And all the stocks that weren't participating in the rally, the likes of HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank, they have started participating. We saw HDFC Bank gaining 2.5%, Kotak Bank as well among the top Nifty gainers and among the top contributors on the Nifty Bank index. If you look at the rest of the markets, broader markets was under some bit of selling pressure today. Nothing really to worry about, but they ended the day in the red. Market breadth was also tilted in favor of losers, today. And as I mentioned, private banks, they've started participating. I think that's something the market will really take heart from, because that outperformance was not coming from that pocket, and now that private banks have started participating, who knows, we may be headed higher from here. But among the other sectors doing well, Realty was one pocket that did well. IT continues to see profit booking, Yatin. Second day of selling coming in, and autos also saw some bit of profit booking, with the likes of Hero Moto and Bajaj Auto emerging as the top Nifty losers. But on the gaining end, you had Power Grid, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, NTPC, SBI Life and Kotak Bank. On the flip side, as I mentioned, two-wheelers not doing well. So Hero Moto, Bajaj Auto, Coal India, second straight day of losses on the back of e-auction premium falling for Q4. We'll be talking about that in details. Eicher Motors, TCS, Cipla, Infosys, these were the other notable losers on the index. But Yatin, from the broader end of the markets also, there were quite a few newsmakers today, right? Talk about some of them.
A lot of them, in fact, all cargo, and in general, the entire logistics pack was doing well. In fact, all cargo, that stock moved 14% higher. Also, we had Home First Finance, that stock moved 5% in trade. EID, Parry, Z, all of these stocks are moving in trade. In fact, today, according to sources to CNBC Awaaz, the cabinet secretaries will meet and discuss regarding the ethanol policy, in which the government earlier had restricted a lot of sugar companies from making ethanol from B heavy molasses. Probably that decision can be reviewed or reversed if the decision is so, and probably that is the reason why a lot of these sugar stocks were in focus. On the flip side, Federal Bank, will speak about it in detail. But that stock was down 5%. MRPL, after a strong run up today, a day of profit taking, was down 5%. BEML, GIC Ray, New India Assurance, all of these companies witnessing some profit taking down by 5% each.
All right, those were the movers and shakers in the mid-cap end of the markets. But let's talk about some of the stocks that are on our radar this afternoon. Starting with Coal India, we were talking about it yesterday also, Yatin. The company has said that there has been a sharp drop in e-auction premium for the fourth quarter. It's come down to 45% vis-a-vis 117% in Q3. This is something that has spooked sentiment. We saw a near 5% kind of cut coming in today as well, almost 3% down. But if you look at what the analysts are saying, they have maintained their view on the stock. They've said that this has been a drop. Of course, the sentiment has been spooked, but only if the e-auction premium stays low, that is when the real concern will come, because higher volumes will offset the impact of lower e-auction premium. If you look at some of the analyst views, analysts say that upside may be capped only if e-auction premium stays low for extended period of time. Motilal Oswal has trimmed that FY26 e-auction premium marginally, but they have also raised the FY26 volume forecast. Citi as well maintained the same thing. They've said that the volume target has been maintained by the management. That's a positive, and they've made the same point that the volumes will offset the drop in e-auction premium, right? Even in the morning, I was talking to Mayuresh Joshi of William O'Neill, and he also pointed out that even though the stock has run up quite a bit, there could be marginal earnings cut, but he maintained the same point that if extended period of time we see a drop in e-auction premiums, that is when the real concern will arise. But aside of that, the stock has run up very well, Yatin, doubled in the last 1 year. Some may argue that the valuations are expensive, but that is offset by the kind of dividend yield we get from the stock, right? So all in all, the view is positive, nothing really to be very concerned about, but only if this continues for an extended period of time, that is when the street will really be worried. But aside of that, the stock of course reacting to that, but let's see how things really pan out earnings wise going forward.
Absolutely, and Coal India, that stock was clearly under pressure after the management commentary, especially with respect to the e-auctions volume falling. But Federal Bank, that was also one stock which corrected nearly 6 percentage points in trade today. Obviously, there was a lot of media speculation that Federal Bank has shortlisted 3 candidates for the post of the managing director, and KVS Manian, who is a veteran at Kotak Mahindra Bank, is likely a front runner for the entire process. Obviously, if Mr. Manian joined Federal Bank, there could be a positive in terms of the overall management bandwidth. But unfortunately, yesterday Kotak Mahindra Bank informed the stock exchanges that Mr. Manian has been elevated to the post of joint MD at Kotak Mahindra Bank, putting rest to all the speculation which is there in the media with respect to his appointment as the Federal Bank managing director. So after this news came out post the market hours yesterday, we saw a big gap down for Federal Bank. People were hoping that if you have a very strong management at the helm of Federal Bank, there could be some upside in the near term, but unfortunately that didn't happen, and the stock fell nearly 6% in trade.
Right, Yatin, of course, this kind of puts a question mark on the succession plan at Federal Bank as well. But as you mentioned, it was all speculation. We never know really whether.
And I think, Nandita, the most important part is there were 2-3 contenders according to media reports, and RBI approval is required. So I'm sure that RBI will have its say in the appointment, and probably the process will be slightly rigorous. Who knows, there could be another big contender for the post of Federal Bank's managing director.
Right, but he retires sometime in September this year, right? Yeah. Of course, we'll be watching out for any kind of news flow on that front. But the other stock that's on my radar today is Tourism Finance. It saw a large block deal today, and 13% stake changed hands at a price of 210 rupees per share. The block deal was worth somewhere around 248 crore rupees or thereabouts. The stock hit a upper circuit today as well, Yatin. Mind you, in the last 4 out of 5 sessions, the stock has hit upper circuit. Why I chose this stock is because of the fact that there has been so much push towards domestic tourism, and this stock particularly stands to benefit. If you remember in the interim budget as well, Finance Minister had made a very strong pitch for tourism, they with the increased push to promote Lakshadweep as a domestic tourism destination, as well as a rise in spiritual travel with the opening of the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. Tourism industry is actually set for a boom, and the government has said that it will be providing long-term interest-free loans to states to promote tourism. And Tourism Finance Corporation is provides funding and advisory to the tourism sector. It provides financial products to various sectors such as hospitality and tourism, manufacturing, social infrastructure and the likes, term loans for setting up hotels and food courts, resorts, etc. And it also provides term loans to MSMEs, right? So if you look at Tourism Finance, it is well poised to benefit from this boom in the tourism industry. Also, there has been a lot of action when it comes to this particular stock. Quant Mutual Fund had bought a stake somewhere around 0.5% or thereabouts, 0.6% stake in January, and recently we had the numbers also. It reported a very strong 50% growth in profit on a YOY basis, 30% jump in revenues, and even the EPS in Q3 saw a big 50% jump. And if you look at the stock performance over the last year, it has delivered multi-bagger returns. It has jumped somewhere around 200% or thereabouts, Yatin. So this is one stock to keep on radar, especially in the face of government's push to promote tourism in the country.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of bulk deals have been reported recently, and a lot of activity on the secondary market has been seen. Today the stock, as Nandita mentioned, was up nearly 5% in trade.
Well then, those were all the stocks on our radar this afternoon. But before we wrap, Yatin, what is the sense you're getting now that we've crossed that 22,200 level, and most importantly, private banks have started participating?
Yeah.
Do you think it's like 22,500
today,
or something?
Today, I think HDFC Bank made a surprise move. Obviously, the management commentary at the Goldman Sachs conference was quite encouraging, at least soothing the nervous investors. But when it comes to the Nifty, I think a lot of private sector banks are moving. And as my managing editor Anuj Singhal says, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the eventual Nifty target, which could come in the near term. We don't know when, but 22,500 is almost here.
Almost.
And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is something that we'll be watching out for.
Well, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a magical number to watch out for next. But for now, of course, things are looking hunky dory. 22,200 on the charts. Nifty Bank starting to perform. Let's see, how things really pan out from here. But of course, with that, I think we will call it a day. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Of course, we'll be back with the markets, 8:30 a.m. in the morning. So don't forget to join in. But you have a good evening and come back refreshed tomorrow morning. From Yatin and me, thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned for all your other news and updates.